szlak moich bliźni, oprowadź polej. Nasze drogi spleść gwiazdą naprzód. Otwórz te ramy, a potem dalej. Aż zamiwiły losu, położył się znów z moich snów. Uciekasz nad ranem, cierpka jak agres, słodka jak beł. Z moich snów uciekasz nad ranem. Zawilczym śladem podążę w zamian i twoje serce w tropie uparte. Hi Yumi, glad to be here. How are you? Hope everything has going. How have you been? Hi. Been enjoying moods too myself. I see. That's nice. Glad to hear. Alrighty, let me just turn on the music and... Jesus! Alrighty, so, actually Ayumi, what kind of emotes have you been doing yourself? Please tell me, I'll be more than happy to hear. Meanwhile, let me recalibrate my model. Key emotes of me, I see. Kind of same thing like what I'm doing here, do I? Ah, yes. So, now I suppose we can just go around with those. I think that would be actually the perfect one to work with. Like, you know, just going now with, you know, things beat by beat. So I don't know why, but my doggo is acting up. So sorry for him. Yeah, we are using brush of the size of 20 pixels. But yeah. Alrighty, so yeah, I've came back from work. You know, stuff have been going quite well. Been doing things. I'm really happy that we finished Froggy, by the way. I didn't upload the video of her yet. But yeah. Let me just turn on something. Hi Aspen, good to have you here. How are you? How is going? Hello there, did you know there's a city in Austria named Hallstatt? Also, how are you doing this fine day? Yeah, I knew it. I'm doing great myself, thank you. I'm doing myself pretty good. So yeah. It's... let me plug my phone in. Okay. Alrighty, so this is delightful to hear. Yeah, it is. I find it quite dashing. Alrighty. I've been wondering about traveling a reader. Sorry. But yeah. I've finally started watching this Yakuza series on Amazon Prime. I have to say it's been actually quite much better if you would ask me when it comes to all of it. So yeah. Hi, I'm here, glad to be here. How are you? How's it going? How are the works on your dinosaurs going? Sorry. Yeah. We're slowly moving through the week. Slowly. I have to say my days have been actually zooming. Although I still can't really expand upon my sleeping schedule. Like I can't really push myself to sleep for 6 hours. And I'm always ending up to fall asleep way before that. Git finished 3 projects today. They are minor. And continue in mine. I see. That's so cool. That's so cool. Really glad to hear it. Own book I started last week. That's cool. That's super cool. I've been also going through my own book. I'm on chapter 1 and I'm almost done with all the pages there. Chapter 1 has 25 pages and it's like 25 pages for each for each chapter until epilogue. So yeah, I think that'll be fair to expand upon stuff. It should give me about like 300 pages in total, something like this. Should it? 100 is 4. Actually, let me check. Wait. I've had it written somewhere. Now it might be a bit difficult to push through all of this. A lot. I'm writing it in a very specific way, so it takes a little. Yeah, no, that ain't gonna work. There we go. So prologue has 10. and prologue and epilogue have 10, so that's 20, and then we have 7 chapters with 25 pages, so it's 100, 125, 150, 175 plus 20, it's 195, so about 200 pages. I think that's good for a novel. It's not like light novel or anything like that, nothing short, but yeah, we are doing something. We are definitely doing something. I need a proofreader after that. I need to know if the book is going to be consistent or not, because I don't necessarily pay much attention to it when I'm writing my book. I'm rather paying attention just so the pages are going to be coherent. Yeah. I'm on chapter 3 and I'm doing some artwork on the main cast arriving at the facility where the dinosaurs will break out and cause chaos. That's so cool. I'm actually... so basically my book is like a noir detectivistic. So like noir thriller, but with elements of it's a noir but with elements of like ghosts and stuff, like that one thing where the detective got killed, like that game where the detective got killed and stuff, but over here it's not that. There's a bit of a plot twist. As a matter of fact, the main character doesn't die, but actually there's an incident where the world of the living is mixing up with the world of the dead. So that's that. And basically the main character being a descendant of two, like thank you for the hearts for you too. So basically the main character being a descendant of two different medium families actually decides to pursue further on the spiritual route, especially when he learns that there's also a bit of a, you know, detectivistic work in there too. I have more or less an idea for at least 7 books for now, because I want to focus the main series on 7 deadly scenes, at least like 7 books, deadly scene per each, so that's like more or less the idea that I want to go for. But like, you know, after I want to make it a bit more spiced up, because after the events in the first book, the world of the living separates from world of the dead, so you know, there's going to be a bit more to work around it, so I want to build suspense with it, like how it's going to go when he's all alone, because I want to make it just so he's going to get a lot of help in the first book from someone. It's kinda like Jurassic Park, but it has more horror aspect, as the original novel wasn't scary enough. I see. That's cool. I mean, theoretically, you can still create a lot of suspense simply by making certain scenes, and it doesn't have to be like a typical horror. You really don't need to add on things and making anything like a typical horror stuff, like a lot of gore and stuff. You can just make things very thick with suspense, you know what I'm saying? So that's for sure that there was still a quite good amount of suspense in Jurassic World, I presume. Assume. So yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, a lot of things in here can be really easily done. Oops. Why do I feel like a lot of heat around my legs now? What's the temperature right now in my room? 28. As a revenge to the people who are making the movie where I used to work on the book on, I'm using a scrap design from the book I made and legally have the rights to. Yeah, you can, 100%. Especially when it's a scrapped. Like, if they can't really stick up to the reference, they don't deserve anything. Also, I think the author of this book should pay for it. You know? Because in the end, author of the book is allowing this kind of behavior. Like, a lot of people really miss that point. Creators of something, when they are making this quite bad, when for example Netflix is doing those really darn bad adaptations that everyone hates, creators are allowing for it. And like a lot of people who went for it cashed out the entire thing and started saying like, oh yeah, no, I had nothing to do with it, it's such a bad adaptation, I can't believe Netflix did that. No, it's not like that. Most of the times creators of the original content have a huge influence on those things, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, sure, for example, oh, we are on a tight budget, and? You are going to see on what kind of tight budget you are going to be if you are going to release a movie with AI slop designs and very bad writing, FYI. Like, that's that. For example, I am really happy with what Disney did. But I mean, they had to learn on their own skin and lose literally more money that they would have to put into a theme park, FYI. Like, for example, the Snow White movie, they've literally lost more money than how much they would have to put into a theme park. I hope you know what kind of scale we are talking about it. Disneyland themed with Minecraft was made with less than what Snow White was made with. And then you are watching this movie and ask yourself, where did all that money went to? Right? Right. The story is bad, the CGI is bad, the character design is bad, they've messed up the entire story. Like someone who was writing that Snow White had no idea what a real Snow White was. Like, clearly. Like, come on. No, come on. The thing is, I love the book because it was fun to work on and love the plot. I hate the movie. I'm pretty sure you know why. Yeah, I know why. Yeah. Worry not, I know everything. And, like, I'm 100% agreeing with you. That's why, again, like, I can tell you already that it's going to be a flop. Because of the reason why I know why. You know? I hope you see the scale of it, right? Like what kind of a huge flop that's going to be. Unfortunately, a lot of people say, it'll be alright. They'll never know. Right? It's been happening for so many different things. Like, for example, One Piece. Oda, the original author of One Piece, actually showed how it's done. And it's not like other authors have not as much influence over what Netflix is putting out. Oda sat down and actually put work into it. And guided Netflix, picked people that would work well for the cast. He made everything right, what the author's supposed to do, for example. And all the other authors also have the same kind of freedom, right? Because this is their job. They should be obligated to work on that movie. And in the end, usually the authors don't really care. And that's why a lot of Netflix adaptations are so freaking bad, because they just said, nah, they'll never know. Nah, I don't care. Like, why? Come on. A lot of people are expecting so much from the movies. They're expecting so much from their favorite series while being adapted. And then this kind of like bullcrap is getting released into the world. Like, why? Literally people asking why, what drove them with it. And I really hate it. So many stories ruined. So many stories ruined. And, you know, don't take me wrong, a lot of stuff could be done better, way better as a matter of fact. See, the issue being the sheer fact that how to say this? All those good story writers are currently still striking for the past couple of years. I think it's been like third year of writers' strike, because a lot of movie directors and generally movie makers are saying that writers do nothing and it's not really that important. And unfortunately, it actually shows in the movies. Same for the art part. A game called Jurassic World Evolution 3 said they used generative AI for the scientist avatars, and that game you need scientists to clone dinos. And they newly said that they removed all the AI and hired artists. Yeah, you know why? Because most likely they've received such a massive lash out by the people about it that they had to, so their game wouldn't fail. And I can assure you that it already made a dent in the hype. Because here's the thing, how the games world and generally like creative world in showbiz is working. Hype. You want to show trailers, you want to hype the people, you want to make them hyped, pumped to see the thing, right? To play the game, see the movie, read the book, right? This kind of thing. But unfortunately, whenever AI comes into the image, a lot of people say, nah, I'm not interested. And no matter what they are going to do, they are not going to come back. No, because that like simple message, hey, we used AI in the thing, is ruining all of the a huge image of it. And like, on the contrary, they can still sit down and try to, you know, make something out of it. And like, for example, not say that it's been AI, or say that it's been AI, you know, corrected by artists, or not say that it's AI and get the artist to work on it, but in the end it's still not going to work, because it's just, it's visible that AI was partaking in it, you know what I'm saying? Quack. Hi Zega. Hi Muto, got to have you here, how are you? Hope it has going. So yeah, like, I'm really sorry to hear that actually a chunk of your work, Amir, got kind of dishonored by some people that were going with AI. I'm good, how are you? Doing good, doing good. I got kind of bored during my work. So, yeah. I am. I'm good, just me and Davis complaining about AI art. AI art is ranting about AI. Like, here's the thing. Again, it's a good tool, but it's a tool. Whatever it makes shouldn't land in any finished design. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can be used as a reference. It can be used as a, you know, as a base thing, just to have something, you know, and then artist, you know, while artist is doing something. But, you know, no. If AI is landing into the finished thing, that's really bad for it. It's really bad for that thing. And I'm going to say that actually, again and again, like, AI is a good tool. It's like a brush or an eraser. You know what I'm saying? But you don't show what brush or what eraser you've used for the finished product, do you? Right? And all those parts are just tools or pieces of media you've used to finish the whole product. And that doesn't mean it has, like, 100% of it has to stay there, does it? Unfortunately, again, like, really unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand this simple fact. A lot of people don't understand this simple fact. And like, the more we are going into the thing, and the more people are showing things and saying, oh hey, yeah, AI is definitely going to push out artists. No, it's not. Simply by how much people are lashing out on it, and simply by in what direction we're going to, you know? I don't think it'll ever push out artists. But I think artists could, well, if the quality is good and it doesn't look lazy, who really cares? People care. Because still usage of AI is lazy. Like they've already started releasing games that don't work. Do you also want the games not to have any work put into them? Like the stories are already bad. Most of the people can tell. True. But people are learning. It's, you know, still the fact that it's should replace real handworking artists. Sure, if you use AI on a project you want to make money on, I find it okay, but it shouldn't remove a whole job. I mean, shouldn't. The thing is that generally AI is just a laziness on one side. If you really want to put it out in the finished product, that's just lazy and being a cheapskate. And it's literally like spitting in the face of a customer, you know? It's like saying, yeah, you are not worth an actual artist. Hatfu. Like that's kind of how it goes. But like, yeah, sure. Again, AI is a good tool, right? Just use it as a tool and not as a finished product. And a lot of artists can say that. Yeah, Zenga, that is a thing, but still. Most of the time it's about principle, but also laziness and, you know, people spending money on something. Like, again, you want to have your money worth, and that means you want, you know, all pieces of the game or anime or movie be done by the entire team and not some people just being thrown out because there's AI. Like, that's what I'm telling, you know. Go ahead, do whatever you want, but just don't waste people's time and make people's money worth of the thing you're placing out. But for me, it's a good thing that everything that uses AI get backlash, even when it's minor. It makes companies avoid AI entirely. Yeah, I'm happy that people are doing this. And actually, yeah, it's like a lot of people can't really tell the difference, but also just because of that, they are buying the game thinking that the entire team of people was working on that, artists and so on, right? So in the end, what they don't know that artists were not taking care of the art. So yeah, well, if they can spend the money on more important things than avatars, like making the dinos proper. No, because that's still part of the process. Like, I've seen some games that started as AI slops on each, and I've been recently walking through each again. You know, just doing my every now and then an analysis of how things are looking. And actually, all those games that started as AI slops started to actually invest into proper artworks. Hi Bea, glad to have you here. How are you? Hope it's going. I think this is the first Instagram, so hope you find the coffee corner here. How are you? Because now they have the money. Yeah, kinda. So, but again, it's also like, isn't that also mean that big studios which already have the money would be, you know, cheapskates? Because like, you know, it's a tool, right? They've made the demo or like mechanical demo and stuff, right? Just to progress with the game, because they couldn't, first of all, they couldn't afford an artist, and second of all, they couldn't really work through a bunch of other things, right? But now as they've finished, let's say, making all the mechanics and they finished making much more other things, they are actually making how to say this, they are actually making the graphics now. But you don't start out bankrupting yourself into not being profitable and able to ever make the next game. Yeah. And then again, like, we are speaking also about the bigger studios. So what about the bigger studios, right? They have money. Using actual artists instead of AI won't hurt them, because they've been already doing that for years. But they still switch to AI. It's not like they are losing money on that because people don't want to play this shit. But yeah, like, you using a demo, making the demo, using it as a tool. Boops. Boop. But yeah, like, using things for demos, just to work things out, just to plan things out, maybe using later those designs as the references, right? Like, that's okay, that's what I'm talking about. AI can be a good tool. But those things shouldn't land in the finished product, and so those indie developers that are using AI for their demos are actually using them as the things that are going to be changed later. I think fewer people care than most think. It's the ones who care are loud, and usually artists. No, they are people who are not art related in any way, shape or form. A lot of Let's Players, for example, on the internet, like, I think Sean, you know, just Jacksepticeye talked about AI usage, Felix, PewDiePie was talking about AI usage, Markiplier was talking about AI usage, all of, like, a lot of, and much more, right? A lot of people that are not even like art connected are expressing the fact that it's not fair also to the customers. Hi Catman, got over here, how are you? Hope has going. I think this is the first instance of hoping from the coffee corner here. How are you? Are you in a cage? I'm not in a cage. It's a little Devi. That's a small version. Small. Early lavender, yeah. So yeah, like, it's just a thing that it might seem like artists are talking about it, but actually there's a lot of other people connected with that hate, you know? There are also people who don't even want to like get into that because a lot of things were already mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Like, why repeating something that someone else said? Like, I'm not strongly against it, but I'm against implementing that as a finished product. For example, imagine you want to create a reference photo. You want to know how the lighting is going to go to look like, but you look at the lighting and something is off because, for example, it's not your art style. You can then use the AI and create a reference photo for yourself, but it's a reference. Gotta go, have a great day. Thank you, Catman. Thank you, you too. So yeah, it's a reference. You are not throwing it as a finished piece. You are keeping that piece as a reference in your library, and when you need that peculiar lighting, that peculiar shading, you can always turn it up and reference the shading off of it. But you are still making something original simply by referencing that photo. Because, for example, there's no references that you specifically need. So, for example, if I would want to have a, let's say, anime illustration of a, you know, Asian girl, round glasses, long black hair, in the rain, having an umbrella and a, let's say, and a katana in another hand, dressed in a long coat, etc. Now, how you are going to find perfect reference that would, for example, limit the amount of images you have to look at? While you can, for example, develop the character design, you can develop the background, how it should look like, and you are ending up with only 2 reference photos, and you are just sitting down and you are drawing what you have, right? It's like, you don't hear any people complaining about AI-generated code besides programmers. Or don't hear people complaining about text generators besides creative writers and teachers, because it doesn't really matter if the quality is assured to be good in the end product and there is someone that can make any required change. Yes and no. Like, again, it's not only those people. Because AI-generated code most likely is going to cause bugs, and bugs are making players irritated. And it's getting difficult to patch it up, because AI usually could also make very, you know, non-coherent code, right? So the actual programmers, while looking at the code, might actually have difficulties in repairing it, which would also mean prolonged updates and patches, right? To fix the game. Same for the text generators. It's not only creative writers and teachers, it's also people who are reading that besides it. Because they are reading it and basically they have issues based on the, you know, there are issues based on like coherence issues, dialogue issues. The entire book makes nonsense at certain point, right? There has to be someone who somehow operates with it. That's why I'm saying it's a tool. You can't make it as a finished product. There has to be someone who is going to take that output and make a proper outcome, which makes the AI a tool, because they are speeding up their process with something AI made but there's still a human who knows what they are doing and actually is experienced and proficient in that one thing to fix that thing from the very beginning. And what I'm saying is that that person that should take care of AI after it's been generated is excluded from the circle. That's the issue. Yes, but if I check the AI code and fix bugs, then you've used that AI code as a tool. Because the outcome is not purely AI generated anymore. You've sat down, you've ensured the quality, and you've put out something that works properly. Because, for example, you've rewrote a couple lines or redone the script just so it would make the thing that it's supposed to do without causing any troubles, for example, in the game. If it generates a good method, I use it one-to-one, why touch it? Yes, and for example, if a character sheet actually looks pretty good, the artist can use the character design one-to-one in the illustration. Now you know where I'm going for, right? Like, there are things that are literally, that you can literally use as a reference or as a tool. But there still has to be the person to ensure that it's going to work properly, right? Same, for example, for the AI-generated artworks. They can't be output as a finished product because they simply are shit. Yeah, I can use the AI-generated codes to get the idea for solution, but it won't matter for the end user because no one can tell. No, they can't tell. There are going to be bugs, for example. I'm talking like the assessment of it. Like purely the assessment of it. If there's no one to assess the outcome of AI, it's not going to be good, no matter what you are going to do. Even if you are going to take like an absolutely perfect AI generated character design, it's still not going to be good. Because there's a bunch of experience that people have and AI probably will never have. Like, you can theoretically put in all that knowledge into AI, but they are still not going to be able to assess the knowledge in the way how the human brain would possibly do, or generally the human. Because, for example, the AI is going to, even though it's like a neural network and it's supposed to work like the human brain, it's going to go with a certain algorithm. There's no spontaneous idea. You've seen me, for example, several times on the streams how I'm making my character designs. I'm making a character design which looks quite generic, and I have a spontaneous idea about something, and it makes the character design interesting. But the AI is not going to have those spontaneous ideas. They are going to generate that specific thing. Yeah, AI code will have bugs, just like people write bugs. Also, artists make mistakes. Sorry for the silence, just me being frustrated because I can't draw doors. It's alright, it's alright. Hi Blush, glad to have you here. How are you? How's it going? Doing good, doing good. I wouldn't agree, actually, with how the mistake things work. I'm not pro AI here. Just some arguments don't make that much sense. Yeah, I understand, but here's the thing. When a human makes AI, when a human makes a mistake, it's more organic and faster to correct. Right? So the more organic mistake is going to be easier to fix. Because, for example, the human is going to make a mistake that humans are used to. For example, like, I love to see when other artists like me complain about AI. So, in theory, you basically go into that thing, you operate on, you know, the general idea, right? And for example, you write a code. Let's say, let's stick to that part. So you write the code, and for example, there's a bug. And you look at the bug and, like, for example, you've seen that bug several times. So you go into that code and you fix it immediately because you know where that bug is. While when the AI code gets output, you sit down, there's a bug. Now, where is the chunk of code that this bug would sit in? You know? Same for the artists. They are making a mistake, they sit down and they see that they've committed a mistake because, for example, artists are getting used to their works. So they know what is wrong generally. And so, just because you know what is going on about it, you can sit down and quickly fix that mistake because you know where it sits. When you're looking at AI, for example, mind you, this happened, for example, to you one time, if I remember correctly. You sit down and, there's something off. I can't put my hand on it. So, in general concept, you sit down and you have no idea what's wrong with it because you didn't draw it. That's why, for example, it's also very difficult to make full assessment of someone's artwork and point out mistakes, because some artists will notice certain portion of the artwork and some artists will point out other things. But the thing is that, well, fixing AI code will be programming in 5 years. But the thing is that it's more work than writing it. So I'm not sure if it's worth for companies. Yes, and same for AI designs. It's simply not worth for the companies. Because fixing, it's not efficient in fixing. We are literally looping back to one of my arguments. It's going to be longer to patch the code than if a human would write it. And same for the artworks. That's why it's crucial that AI should not be used in the ending product, but actually as a reference or a side product or something, you know, as a portion of the finished product, right? But a very small portion of the finished product. So in general idea, again, it's a good tool, but it's not going to be worth in usage in the long run, generally. And should not be used in the ending product. But yeah, like, I can see why, for example, it would be used as a placeholder. I can't see the causation there. Causation. How the conclusion comes from the argument. Man. If you... I think like we are looping in in the conversation. Like, more work, more wage for the workers per project, prolonged patches, loss of interest by the players, massive, you know, refunds, loss of money, product not desired, company being closed, bankruption, no money, because things were taking way longer than it would take if humans would be taking part in the process from the very beginning. Not necessarily. What do you mean not necessarily? Bleach. That new Bleach game I was talking about. Nobody's playing online anymore. People are just playing story mode. Why? Because the game on the release for like 2 months couldn't be played because they were slacking off with the patch, because probably the code was written by AI and just game is dead. That's it. They've took a lot of negative grades. They've got a lot of negative grades, a lot of refunds. They've lost money. The game is not desirable. No one plays the game anymore because they've killed the game from the very beginning. And this is exactly what is happening right now. And I'm sure game dev companies are right now also using the AI because of how many bugs are there in the games. Like, sure, those bugs could have been done by people, but usually it wouldn't be in that amount. The same code as for Dragon Ball and the other Viroid like fighting combo games. Not quite. The Sparking Zero wasn't really done with it. Like, it has a bunch of different stuff. The only reason I have a job is if you look at the AI dinosaur drawing, it's a horrible design for people that want accuracy. The thing I deliver. Maybe. Also, for example, a New York Times recently wrote that AI slop has reached the recruitation processes, so... If New York Times talks about it, then it's really, you know... It reached every single portion of the world. So, yeah, like, humans are necessary for the sheer sake of the production, because humans ensure better accuracy and speed in fixing mistakes. Sure, humans are going to create mistakes, but that also doesn't mean the mistakes are not going to be fixed right away, right? Like, sure, it could have been released right after everything has been done, but then you have first day patch, for example. So again, I think it's a simple logic. Like at this point, sure, if you want, go ahead, use it. But ensure that when you have possibility, make, for example, your artworks. Well, if I need 300 little avatars for people in my game, which sits in the corner of and nobody will be able to tell, I for sure won't spend $15,000 on them, because I know that I'll make even $20 on the game. This is another thing. We are changing the scope, right? Like, sure, you're right. That makes sense. You misread. Yeah. Sorry. Before I know that I'll make even $20 on the game. Yeah. Like, sure, that makes sense, right? But then you can use it as a placeholder. Or simply the money for the artist could be allocated to the artists that would make more important stuff, right? Like, sure, avatars might not be really that, you know, important. But then again, why would you want to make 300 little avatars that would sit in the corner? Well, but I have to release with them in the final product. Kinda. But then again, why would you need 300 little avatars in the core that would just sit in the corner of your game? That kinda, you know, loses the idea, right? Because you are going on a over-the-top scope with a game that in the idea should be probably indie on a very small scope. So why in a small scope you would go over the top of it, right? So instead of that, you can, let's say, get, I don't know, 5 avatars, 10 avatars, as usually a lot of games have, and pay about $30–50 for all of them. So, you know, that's more or less the concept. Like, you want to allocate the money properly, and of course I understand that, let's say you want... Hi Yui, got to be here, how are you? Hope everything's going? I haven't seen you in a while. Oh my god, Yui! How have you been? Hi! Oh my. If they used to make everything else procedurally generated, it would look very weird with the same couple of things repeating. I've missed you like crazy. Same. There are many small artists that like to help out. I redesigned a small streamer's Twitch channel because he wanted to get rid of all the AI work. He did it for free, so there's always an option. Yeah, I'm currently sick, but yeah, anyway. Oh no, so sorry to hear that. How have you been, honey? I've been doing great. I've been doing really well. I've been working a little. I'm not sure if you've heard the news. I've changed my work. I'm not working in the company. I've worked for 10 hours a shift. Gonna go. Bye, Aspen. Thank you for coming. And actually, we've got... Yeah, but game assets prices are insane. I guess it's... In the end, it's about measuring scope. On an end of the year school trip tomorrow for 3 days. I send you pics, yeah? Yeah, can't wait. Please do. How's the package, Yui? Did you have occasion to eat all of the stuff I've sent you? Oh, the package, yeah. I loved it, by the way. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. The orange chocolate. That one was actually British, not necessarily Polish, but I really wanted to give you that because actually I really like this one too. Oh, it's maybe want to marry you. British. Traitor. No. Go, I have to work on a big project, the one with diamonds in ancient times, and also I have to go out and buy a better PC. It's alright, Amir, take care, bye bye. Bye bye. But the small scope with will having a character costs more than the average return. We want to burn money. Sure, it's convenient for artists, but everybody else losing with it. That's why I'm saying also that placeholders are really good, because you for example ensure that hey, those are just placeholders. The game is going to have much more work put into that, but I want to show you what I'm working on and possibly finance the upgrade of the game, because the art part is taking much more, for example. Or just do like other indie game devs are doing and just make the artworks yourself, right? Yeah. Also, Yui, on Twitch we've reached the partner. That's also a new thing. Also, folks, Davis and Bobber, the Bobber one, went in for the how is it called? It's actually the most used emote on the channel by today. I wonder what will it be when all the emotes are going to land on Twitch. So yeah. It's difficult to talk about that because there are pros and cons. You know, Zega? It's like discussing if keeping an army in a country is a good idea. Okay, now change the topic. It's a bit too political. But yeah, like I even started to learn drawing because it's still cheaper for me to do it myself, even if I'm very slow with it, because I can produce the same quality art cheaper if I compare it to my six figures programming job. Yeah, like that's understandable, right? If you are making the game yourself, of course you want to save money as much as possible, so using AI as placeholders, finish the technological demo while also taking feedback, updating the game, and making the proper graphics. So there's like also what kind of pipeline you want to go with, but also you can still use AI artworks, but as a placeholders. They don't have to stay there. And I agree, it is cheaper, and that's what I would advise. Like if you want to make an indie game, it's better to also learn how to draw. For example, pixel art is really easy to learn. As a matter of fact, when I've learned the pixel art, I've learned it in a week. It's really simple. And trust me, you can do a lot of really great things. Of course, there's like still some art theory you can learn in there, but you don't have to, like, for example, learn how to make your hand steady. You don't have to learn how to do properly the line weight, right? All you need to do is, for example, what colors are going to fit better, while also the color schemes for pixel art usually are bound by the color palette. While for the digital artwork, the color palette can be there, but also you can break the color palette. Like, hi Royal, got over here, how are you guys going? How have you been? So yeah, like the AI talk is really difficult to pursue because, again, like, we can talk about it, we can talk about all the possible pros and cons, but we are still going to, from big concerns, we are going to loop into indie people, right? And indie people don't have any other option. While also considering that, you know, indie people can do placeholders. I gotta go now. I gotta pack my luggage. Alrighty, Yui, take care, take care. I'm good. How about you? Doing good, doing good. I think you should probably look around what people would need for a game and check the art prices and calculate how much would it cost to make a small game without drawing anything yourself. Then go ahead and estimate how much the game will make for you and how sustainable that loss is to make a next game. Yes. I miss you so much. Hopefully I'll be able to catch you again. Of course, Yui, I've missed you all so much too. Feel free to send me a message on the Discord whenever you'll be free. Even if I'll sleep, I'll be sure to read it when I wake up. We have to call, for sure, we have to call Yui. We have to. Is the version of you crying in the corner? Which corner? It's a little bit. But also, Zega, we are going on like more game dev management portion at this point. Calculating costs is going for management. Of course, you want to minimize the money. And sure, it's going to cost a lot. Like, if you want, for example, your own... If you want a tileset for RPG Maker, depending on... in the corner of... Oh, that's a little dev. He was naughty, so we had to put him in the thing. Hi Aesthetic, got over here, how are you going? Cool. So basically, RPG Maker tileset is going to cost you about 80 USD for one tileset. So like going into like, for example, outside, right? An entire outside of one type is going to cost you about $80. So now considering that you want to have, for example, 4 different seasons, spring, summer, fall and winter, that's already 4 different outside tile sets, plus inside tile set, plus you know, so basically you have like 4 plus 5, all of them are $80, so you already have like about $300, plus avatar busts, which are usually all around $40 each. You want to have for all the key characters, let's say all your key characters in your game, you have about like 12, maybe 18 even, usually, sometimes there's more, and you're ending up with like about, let's say about 18 by 40, so it's like 18 times 40, that's 720, 80 times 5, that's 400. So you have 720 times 400, not times, sorry. 720 plus 400, that gives us 1120 USD, and plus all the items, UI elements, backgrounds, NPC character sprites, environmental assets. Yes, that is going to be a lot, sometimes even like I would say at some point it would be even about like 5,000 USD. I understand that it is a money. But there are ways to work around it. There are artists who just want to join forces with someone who make games, so they already have person going about it. But of course it brings the cost of giving, for example, a percentile to the it gives a percentile to the artist directly. And here you have the no, sorry, it's okay, Muto. What you're saying sorry for? What's up? What's going on? So yeah, in general, making games is not a cheap thing if you are not going to make graphics for yourself or use AI. And I understand that's why, for example, I've mentioned that it's okay at times to use AI, but I don't think a finished product should go. Yeah, right, but artists technically lose money for that. Yeah, I was texting someone else, I see. I do understand that concept, Zega. I absolutely do understand that concept, and it's alright. It's absolutely okay, right? It's alright to use AI at times, but let's keep in mind to pursue treating the AI image as a placeholder, no matter if it's going to take ungodly amount of time for it. They most likely won't ever make the money from game that they would make from doing commissions for the same time. Yeah, if they make any. Yeah, but it's about making a name too, and making experience and just having fun. Because, for example, they don't know how to program stuff. Like, also, for example, you've seen how fast I've made animation of Kitsuya. In like what? In about like 20-30 minutes, we already have an entire character finished. And then in an hour, we've had, or more, like 1.5 hours maybe, we've already had a finished animations of Idle and Walking. So I've spent 2 hours about on the artworks we've had, and we have more or less the stuff to just make the idling and walking, right? But again, it's difficult to make the AI talk because you've, like, yes, you have point for that. There are arguments that make no sense. There are explanations that are not going to make sense. But that doesn't necessarily mean that using AI is a good thing. Are expensive too? Yeah. They are, as a matter of fact, they are. But I have to say, it's very difficult to pursue this entire talk. Like, sure, I could say, I am saying that it's alright to use it, but at the same time, it shouldn't be the finished product. Like, the game can be released, but there should be, for example, patches that would exchange the graphics, right? For example, you can build it. And that's why I totally understand that artists opt for tools they are where they don't need to pay programmers, and it goes the other way too. I also understand that. I also understand this. But in the end, it's good not to keep it as a finished product. Like, go on, use it. It's cheaper, it's good still as a placeholder, but don't keep it as a finished product. Don't sit on the laurels, don't call it a finished product, because the ending designs might not necessarily be the best option for you, right? And the same for the programming. I wouldn't opt out for the AI generated program, right? I would, for example, I don't know, ask you, or if I'd have to, I would commission a programmer to review the code after everything and check what's going on, or learn programming while making the game on the thing that we have, and simply pursue the idea that the game itself should be and pursue the idea to redo the code of the game when I already learned programming. And that can be also the option for programmers. They are going to make the game, they're going to write the code, they're going to make everything with AI graphics, while they are going to learn how to make the graphics themselves and secretly work on the things. How do you plan to do it? Okay, I made a prototype game with the placeholders, now time to spend thousands of dollars to swap out AI stuff for a game that probably won't make a quarter of the money, but the assets cost. How people were doing this so far before AI was a thing? They didn't. They were using placeholders. They were ending up with different graphics. That's why there wasn't as many games back then. True. True. But there's still not that. Also, expectations and prices are lower. Kinda. I think it's actually because of the because of what we were receiving for the games. Also, I'm making one emote for about like you know 2 hours now. You could give Lara Croft triangle boobas and nobody would care. Yeah. And you have games that are looking like Undertale and they are more successful than some AAA games. Even though the graphics compared to each other are quite bad. Just saying. And you know why? It's because it wasn't the game wasn't made for the quantity, but for the quality. The story, character writing, music, some systems, gameplay was quite good. And graphics, if they can't be achieved, they simply don't have to be as, as desirable. Survivorship bias. Oh, I wouldn't say so. There were many games in the past, indie games, that were quite bad looking and they were exceeding with the, sales, the AAA games, because AAA games are actually dropping in the quality overall. Music, story writing, character designs, graphics, and programming. All the thing that is getting into the process of video game making is dropping in the quality. That's why, for example, we started to need day one patches. That's why we started to need day 1, day 2, day 3 patches. That's why we started to need the game to be finished after the game release. There's much more games with amazing handmade art which doesn't make a single dime. Also true. Also true. But then why they are not getting a single dime? For example, the game could be bad. In story writing, the game could have a lot of bugs, the game could have really bad story. Or just someone never bothered to actually advertise the game properly. There's much more to it. And yes, like... And just the randomness of the market. Yeah. Exactly. That's why, okay, yeah, like, again, sure, you can use AI. But if you're actually going to go for something that is going to be released on Steam or anything else, you know? Like, you could simply make a brilliant game, but some other puzzle is not fitting, or randomness of the market is not for you, right? And like, yeah, sure, you can go for the game, you can release it with the AI artworks, but you can actually build your following, build the structure of the game, and make the game actually likable, and occasionally exchange the graphics to normal graphics, not AI, and make the finished product, despite the game was already quote-unquote finished and released. Like, there are already a lot of different options, there are already different methods to go about it, and you can still use AI for many different purposes. Sure, it's helping, it's really helping, it's okay to use it. But the thing is that how you're using it, what you say you are doing. It's a different thing if you have a game dev who sat down and said like, the game's graphics are AI made. I couldn't afford making the graphics. I don't know how to draw, so I've just simply made AI graphics, and I want to make normal graphics, but we don't have money for it yet, or I don't have skills yet. And for example, I'm learning how to make the graphics, but it will need much more time, but I already want to show you my game and how it's going to work, because I finished story writing and programming for the game. But once you have the money, so you can't go negative, why not? But you said before that it never should be in any final product. I'm arguing with that. Yes, but if you are releasing it knowing that there's going to be an update of a thing with graphics, then what you're releasing is not necessarily a final product, is it? It can be alpha, beta, whatever. The final product is going to be the one with the graphics, right? And people are going to understand that it's a beta with AI generated artworks. Because someone just wanted to show their game and, for example, get the following and bring the people to maybe finance making the graphics and releasing the final product of the game. That's the idea I was going for. I call final product anything, not anymore, only on my computer. So that would still fit, right? That it wouldn't be the final product because you would still have the game on your computer. Because you would still work on the graphics for the game. Like, I really like those, you know, conversations and stuff. I need to fix her hand. You know what you can do? When you have a hand like this, right? You kinda just want to add something like this. and that'll be good, because over here you have a thumb, and that's it. And if the hands are like really close to the camera and they're cut out, then you don't really need to work on those a bit, Muto. What? Yeah. Alpha version is a final product too. Yeah, at some point. Well, final product. But what kind of final product? Right? Like, final product would be the finished product, not tests. Would it now? Because alpha wouldn't be 1.0, right? I think also we might have a different way of calling final product. Yeah, but once you sell it, then you are selling alpha. Nothing changes. I think our logics might be contradictory here. Man. Like, for me, for example, final product might be something else than your idea of final product. That's alright, that's fine. But I think I get your points and what you are going for. But what's the argument we are trying to make? It's your final product, which is not anymore in the process of creation. It's under improvement. But you didn't finish the game though. I thought you were about to diss Undertale with that graphics comment you had me in the first half. I mean, Undertale's graphics are very simple. So simple as a matter of fact that they are not the main pinpoint for people to actually follow the game. They are following the game for really great story writing, really great character development, really great character personalities, and the fighting system, right? And the music, right? So basically, even though the graphics are so simple that they wouldn't be the point of interest, other parts of the game are making the game worth trying. You can call it at any point finished. Just an indicator that you are selling it and plan to improve it. So, I'm just going to Google this because at this point I'm not sure myself. How does that go? You're right, the graphics are quite retro, so yeah, it's not the main selling point. Yeah, exactly. So, no, an alpha version is not a finished product. It is an early stage of software development, primarily used for internal testing or debugging by the development team. Alpha versions often lack complete features, may contain bugs, and are not intended for public release or general use. But in indie game idea and indie game works, you can still put it out and sell it. Is beta version a finished product? Yeah, despite they sell alpha version games, which clashes with the thing you just said. Yeah, but like they're just selling something that shouldn't necessarily be for the public. But they are just showing that they are working on the game, so they are just showing their process. It's like me showing or posting the image of a sketch, which is not the finished piece, because I'm going to still make the line art and color it and shade it and add the special effects and stuff. But despite all that, the alpha and beta testing should happen before any selling. Actually, on beta version, they say it's still not finished product, but it's a pre-release version of software or a product that is made available to a limited group of users for testing and feedback before the official public release. But then it's still contradictory, isn't it? Because you are still selling it. So anyone who would buy the game, imagine you sell the sketch saying you maybe finish the drawing over time and may send and don't send updates. Isn't the sketch your product? No. No, it's not. Well, kinda. The illustration is the product, but the sketch is the portion of the... It's like an alpha version is like a freelance art commissioner selling a sketch. If a client asks for a sketch, then it's okay for them to buy it. Yeah, that kind of fits my logic. That's kind of more or less. If a popular world-renowned artist tries to sell a sketch to a museum, it's not okay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's like depends on point of view. But then, like, selling a sketch when your product is an illustration, it's not selling a product, it's selling a byproduct. Or selling a piece of work in progress, right? I would call it a byproduct rather than product. Or the other thing I said. Because you can sell sketches. People can commission sketches. Right? That is a thing. So in theory, you can sell a sketch while your product is the illustration. Yeah, but it goes the wrong way, kinda. I think it's also very dependent on what creation world we are speaking about. I think it's something else. So pre-orders are bad too. Kinda, yeah. Well, a step further ahead. Possibly, yeah. Quite possibly, yeah. Also, because they sold nothing. Yeah. Schrodinger's game. It's going to be released or not? Yeah. Well, now this is also a quite difficult thing because it depends like how we are looking at alpha and beta versions. It depends on the points of views because, for example, like sure you can sell a sketch while working on an illustration, but the sketch is in the end not your product but a byproduct of something you're working on already. The more popular creators wouldn't allow themselves to show the alpha or beta versions or sketches because, for example, they would fear for the thing to be stolen, the idea. They would fear that their popularity would drop, right? Like, there's a lot of aspects to take account for in this peculiar topic. That's why I think that AI topic is way more difficult to discuss because it's like discussing every single field that AI is used for. Because each field has like kind of different rules they are working with. Alpha test is when I open it and see if it works. Beta test is when I send to my friends so they can try, called Alpha Beta, an already released and solved product is just a weird thing. Yeah, kinda. But they're still selling versions 0.5. For example, right? Terraria had it, right? So in theory, it's like selling a beta. They just justify selling half-done thing. Yeah, they do. But then, isn't it the same like selling something like almost finished game, but AI graphics, stating that you are going to exchange the graphics later on? So in theory, the game is half done and you are just justifying it to be released with placeholders. I think that would be consensus. But their product is the half-done thing, plus the promise that it will get better. Yeah, if you put it this way. But then it's half-finished product, is it? So it's not fully finished product, but it's a half-done product. Because it is a product in the end. Like, yeah, sure, their product is the game. But it's a half-done product. Like 0.5 version, right? But a fully finished product is like 1.0, for example. And then they can build upon it. Compared to the promise, it's half done. But compared to itself, it's a full done. Now we are getting in some philosophy, Zaga. Now we get into some philosophy. I'm so sorry, folks. Like, I hope the talk was interesting at least. Recently I think like my talks were quite boring. I hope that I didn't like made anyone infuriated. That was a discussion. But yeah, it's a philosophy. It's a philosophy at this point. What is half done but yet finished in its finest? Like, in the end, the premise, it's half done, but it's a full finished product if you sell a sketch. Because someone commissioned just a sketch and a lot of artists are selling sketches. Yeah, that's that, right? That's more or less this idea. Yeah. I suppose. Yeah, they sell you an egg and it may or may not hatch into a chicken. The egg is the product, not the chicken. Yeah, true. David Boops. Boops, Muto, Boops. Boops, your snoot. So yeah, that's, yeah. If we are looking at it from this side, you're right. If we are looking at it from this side, you are 100% right, sure. I think at the end of the day, the client is aware of what they are buying as long as the person is transparent of how done it's something is. Yes, and I have to say that this is also something I was trying to say. Like, in the end, it kinda is important to say that you've used AI. It is important to be transparent about it and not claiming that you've finished something yourself. Because you didn't. You've made something with AI, you've used that tool. And like, that's what matters the most. Right? Because in the end, it's kind of painful for people to think that they're buying something that someone like actually draws, and they're ending up with AI artwork. It's kind of scamming people because they have hopes that the product is going to be different. The transparency is the most important what you're doing. Because if you're selling chickens, but your chickens are eggs, then that's not right, right? But if you are selling eggs and you say that they might become a chicken, but in fact you are selling just eggs with specific premise, that's a different story. So if I, let's say, make a game with AI-generated character artworks, and I say, hey, those are AI placeholders, I'm going to draw my own artworks, but for now I want to just test out the pieces of the story, then there's this transparency that, hey, okay, so he's using placeholders, we shouldn't look for on the graphics now, let's look at the story writing and if the game has bugs or not. Yeah, because if you are using AI, there are probably 1,000 people that aren't getting paid for them. The least you can do when you sell it is say it's not yours, you know? Yeah, exactly. Also, there are regulations for that, where the regulation is that whatever is AI generated, it doesn't belong to anyone. Ergo, if you make an AI generated character design fully, not based on any of your idea, that means it doesn't belong to you, so anyone can just sit down and take everything. Alright, Kimo appear only to say hi and bye. Bye bye, Kimo, thank you for coming. Yeah, like the stream. Because AI is replicatable one-to-one by chance. Yeah, exactly. Because it's seeded. Generally. So if you get the same seed, and you'll reroll this a bunch of times, you might actually stumble upon exactly the same artwork you are going to get. In theory. So yeah, while with actual artists you don't really know what you're going to get, but still, like, it's not about that anymore. Same seed, same prompt, same neural net produces the same image. Yeah, exactly. So in theory, if you're going to have all that, and you can actually take the information from the AI generated image, or you can just go on DeviantArts or all other, like, you know, sites where you can get the artworks from, and you can just download the artworks off of the site, and you can still claim it's yours, because, like, no, they cannot, because you can't really claim that it's yours, and the person who generated it can't claim that it's theirs either, because there's no IP on AI generated images. How cool is that? So yeah, it's like, good luck replicating accidentally any handmade art, pixel and color be perfect. Yeah, exactly. You would have to be exactly the same person, because you need the same amount of experience, the same amount of knowledge, and the same procedures, style, work pipeline. Like, there's a lot of stuff going. You won't be able to do it. Yeah, exactly. You won't. You might try to replicate the idea, but you won't get the same thing, even if you are the same person. That's also true, because people are not capable to replicate by themselves. If I, for example, would have to draw that peculiar emote over here, it wouldn't be the same, trust me. Like, because we are not capable to do that. As a matter of fact, we are not even capable to remember things in 100%. We can only memorize 90% of something. So yeah, that's that. Have you posted for No, I didn't. I want to. I really want to. I might. Should I now? Let me post it now. I don't want to, you know, work through things. I need to copy the thing like this. And we'll see post V. Now that, upload the artwork, Froggy getting married. And now let's write it. Very chat would say what they want. She seemed so stoked about her waifu training. This idea came to my mind. Hope you liked it. I've almost right. Hope you liked it. Liked it. Like TD. Rebart, art, digital painting, Vtuber, PN, Vtuber, PN. Now let's copy all that. Let's also check spelling. Yeah. Yes. And actually I have to say I'm really happy that I can have talks like that with y'all. And it's not turning into like it's not turning into a thing where one side is pro AI, one side is anti AI, and we have like a massive war in the chat. I'm really proud of that, because I'm aware that some people tried to. Well, unfortunately, yeah. So I remember. Wait, what? No, that's not a thing that I've copied. Control C, Control V. That's the thing I've copied. Yeah. Bone Ape Teeth. I'm lucky enough to never have spoken to those extreme pro AI people. I mean, the thing is, like, we've received ammunition on them. Like, the thing you can tell them is that at least whatever you make is 100% yours, and you can restrict the intelligence property on the thing you're making, because AI legally cannot be registered as intelligence property. So in fact, you can't be an owner of AI-generated artwork. No one can be, even the person who created it with prompts. Which is quite funny. It's quite funny. I've seen a lot of people crying about that on Twitter and Reddit and stuff. And post. People are extremely anti-AI only until they lose on it and can see how they benefit from it and where they can need it and why. That's why, for example, I see how I can profit off of it. I know that I can profit off of it with making reference photos, or help me make a better pipeline for writing, or just prepare a scenario for me. Like, I know what I can do, right? I know how I can use it for my advantage, but I know that it's not my product. Also, until they don't know how much AI-generated product they use without knowing. Yeah, like, a lot of those things AI-generated right nowadays, aren't they? Now I can pin this to my profile. The previous artwork is not going to be the pinned one, even though we've got a lot of stuff. Hey, I have extreme anti-AI friends, and it's hard to talk to them about certain things sometimes. Yeah. Like 1/3 of all code of anything Google is AI generated. Yeah, and that's scary. That is scary. But also, you can kind of see how things are going about it. But yeah, like, use AI as a tool. It's your eraser, it's your pen, it's not your final produce. It's your tool that you can make your life easier with, but it's not the finished thing ready to post. Okay? Okay. Let's keep it at that. Alas, if we stick to this logic, we'll be blessed. We need that, and now let's get all that. Let's reverse the thing. Well, then the question is how much transform is substantial enough to call it a different thing than AI? I mean, how much different is usage of reference photos? Like, some people are actually taking full pose from references, and it's okay. It's alright. I would personally, for example, take most of the code from AI, for example, because I can't code, but I can kind of read the code and see what needs to be done to make the thing better. So probably just watch out not to, you know, like I sent you that I'm using an AI pic to slide up and do a spine animation, for example. Someone would call it AI, some wouldn't. Personally, I think that depends what you want to call AI. Because artwork, it's AI. The animation, it's not AI, right? Like, in the end, is it AI? I wouldn't say that it's purely AI. Like, again, it depends on what you want to talk about. Exactly. It's once again about the perspective you are looking at. So. Alrighty, everyone. I did post it on Twitter and Blue Sky the illustration for Froggy. All the joints have to be hand drawn. Yeah. So at this point, it's still, again, like, very difficult to work around this concept because it's like what you're looking at, right? Like, sure, you're editing it, right? I guess at this point it wouldn't, but 60-70% the visible surface is still the original chunk that came out of the AI. Makes sense? Makes sense. Yeah. Jesus Christ, it's so hot. Give me a second. Or maybe actually. I wanted to make this stream longer. I wanted to make it last until 21, but it's so hot in my room and I can't open my window to hook up my AC today. So I'm actually boiling here alive. Oof. Zega. I'm kind of me. Also, I have to say I'm kind of sad because we've spent 2 hours and I've once again went in the thing where I wasn't drawing while talking. It's something that I really have to fight with. Did you eat? Oh yeah, Zega, did you eat? Did you rested well? Muto, did you slept well? Did you ate something? Did you took your meds? Zega, did you eat something normal? and rested well, or are you on caffeine? Please remember to actually worry about yourself too. Personally, I have to say I've made a really huge changes about myself and about my lifestyle. Because I've started to sleeping normal hours, I've started to drink less coffee. For example, today I've had only 1 cup. I've ate a bagel sandwich. I've ate a bagel sandwich and I've with some ham, cheese, lettuce, tomato, and jalapeno. Really good for my work lunch. And also I've had some spicy instant noodles. And after I came back, I've had a lovely dinner with with steamed veggies and some chicken and some potatoes. I really liked it. I really liked it. So I have to say that, as a matter of fact, I've had a quite nice meal. And yeah, I've had an entire bottle of water, a 1.5 liter, while at work still. And before that, I've had only 1 cup, a cup of coffee. And after I came back home, I am now treating myself to some hot cocoa that I've just finished. And 1 glass of some soda. After the stream, I'm going to probably sit down and watch some movies with my mom. We have actually You're not drinking today. No, I'm not. No alcohol for me today. I'm not. And I think I actually want to fully cut out alcohol from my diet. Like in the end, like even if you are drinking soda like Coke or something, alcohol is adding even more calories to that, and alcohol actually has 0 benefits, so those are just empty calories that are just going to be turned into fat. And I want to take care of myself a bit more. As a matter of fact, I've started working on myself a little bit, especially because I've got a possibility now to live differently. Absolutely brilliant thing in it. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'm really salty that I didn't manage to finish this emote. I don't know why. It took me 2 hours to make it. I don't really drink either, because of my religion and because I'm scared, lol. I see. Drinking is not cool. Drinking is not cool. As a matter of fact, drinking is making me feel bad. Not in like right away, but like after on very next day, I've noticed that my performance is a bit weaker. My focus doesn't work well, and for example, my creativity and artworks are being influenced by it. Well, I was drinking a lot when I was your age. Yeah, no. I don't even think I'm going to have a normal university life. Was unimaginable without some borderline alcoholism. I see. I only just turned 18, but half of my friends have been drinking from 15. Um, that's actually quite... how to put it? Irresponsible, I'd say. Drinking before drinking age is quite irresponsible. And gets you to quite bad place, health-wise especially. For example, you might, when you're drinking in earlier age, you might, as a matter of fact, start... depends on the country, yeah, I think in Germany you can drink, like, very light. Well, I live in England, so it's kind of like that. Oh yeah, in England, I've heard in England, like, 14, 15 years olds, like, actually go and drink beer. That's crazy. But yeah, it depends on the country. And yeah, as I was saying, in Germany, it is legal for younger people, like 15, for example. I think the thing is like 13, 15, something like that. Some countries, they send you to war when you're 17, but can drink only once you hit 21. Yeah, so someone mentioned that. There was a video about it. So someone said like, why you're not acting as a man? And dude literally said that it's because I live in a country that sends me to a war when I'm 17, while I can't even drink on a bar until I hit 20 years, 21 years. Which was crazy comeback. And if I'm aware, if I remember correctly, the person who asked the guy why he won't man up, or why he won't be acting as an adult, had no idea how to gather up from that. Yeah, I'm really sad that they couldn't finish the emotes. Age restrictions for Call of Duty 18. Yeah. Same for GTA, innit? Over here in Poland, it's like quite straightforward. You can drink when you are 18, you can vote when you are 18, you can drive when you are 18, but you can actually start when you are 17, up when you are about 6 months before your 18th birthday, because that's actually how long it takes for you to finish the exams. So you can start when you're 17 and a half, and when you are 18 you already finished the driver's license exams and you can start driving. It's weird that doing drugs is only 16 plus, but sex is 18 plus. Movie restrictions category. Yeah, that's also offensive language is 18 plus. In it. That's even crazy. It's pretty similar over here. Yeah. And I think it's actually quite clever. It's straightforward. It's good when things are straightforward. Oh, a really cool game just had a premiere. Now I see it. Why does it has mixed grades? What's wrong with it? Oh, I think the... Okay, I see the difference now. Hi, I'm back and I got a good PC. Hey, let's go. Hi, Amir. Got to be here. How are you? What country Makila is? Oh, England. Never mind. Yeah. Let's go. New good PC. That's so cool. But I see why the game I was talking about received... is receiving negative grades. Well, I don't see it, I still don't understand that, but I see what's going on. You have English and Japanese thumbs up, and you have Chinese reviews with thumbs down, so I guess I know what's happening. Hmm. I think I want to buy it. I'm broke. Though. And it's not that far away. It's funny how all the other Asian countries hate the Japanese. That is ironic, isn't it? I don't even understand why. Maybe it's because, for example, Japan is usually like that Asian country, you know what I mean? Like when someone talks about Asian country, people first thing that comes into the mind is Japan, right? And technological progress. Work culture is the same all over Japanese country, all over Asian countries. There we go. I don't think that changes. Like all of them are quite, yeah. No, you know what I mean. I'm playing a game called the Isle Test. The PC is holding up pretty greatly and runs with 100 FPS. I'm kinda broke. Oh no. Japan, China, plus Korea are the only countries from Asia some people know. It's weird. Yeah, while in Asia, India also belongs to Indonesia. Like Indonesia has Asia in freaking name, which is crazy. But yeah, you have India, Indonesia, Polynesia. You have, has the most islands, true. You have Philippines. Those are Asian countries. But usually those three are like the top three that people are usually mentioned. Mongolia? Yeah. There's a bunch of other Asian countries that people just don't necessarily point out, like Japan, China, Korea. I think that's exactly this order, although I think China now dropped to top 3 with that logic. Yeah, it's also, it's Eurasia. Russia is Eurasia because it takes part in European part and Asian part at the same time. So it's not necessarily Europe nor Asia, but it's Eurasia. It's actually how it's called. But part of Russia, yeah, it's in Asia. I don't know how they've split Europe to Asia. Even like, where is the border of Asia? What makes the border? Wouldn't Russia like cut out Asia? So why is it called Eurasia instead of Europe? Isn't that the Ural mountain? I think it might be the divider. Yeah, I think it might be, you know? I think it might be Ural. Ural. It's so difficult to say it without a Slavic accent. Laurel. I think I could see Laurel and nobody would pay attention to it. I've had a blast. I mean, we've spoke this entire stream about AI, so that's, you know, that's definitely a thing. Those are Arabian, aren't they? I don't I don't I don't think they are account as Asian countries. It's not a continent. True. That is true. Oh well. What can we do? Can we? Yay! I am. Yeah. Or whatever. I'm actually starting to melt. I have to do something about it. And probably I am going to hook up my AC after the stream. I'll do my best to do that. Yeah, and turn on the AC. It's technically still in the Eurasian tectonic plate. Yes, that is how you said. Yeah. Ouch. I've just bent my neck and it cracked loud and actually started pain. Also, technically, majority is Turkey. Majority of Turkey is Asia too. True. Oh, I suppose that. Yeah, that's that generally. Yeah. You might be right. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so I've uploaded Froggy's artwork. We'll see where that will go. What the? Yeah. I really want to finish those emotes on stream too. Because I'm not sure if I'll be able to have time to do that off stream because I'm doing other stuff from my projects. So I think we are going to have more streams about that. I think we might have more streams about this. Trying to pursue more stuff here. I don't think we have much to do. I think next... The what? What do you mean the what? My projects. What the what? So basically I think we can do this emote, Anya, Green, and Burn. Although I think we already have that emote, so I can cross it too. And we already have that emote too. I want to remind you, those two were done by Izu. So I think I can have those. Do the coffee? Yes. So those are technically done. That leaves us with only 4 emotes to do. So this one, this one. And this one, right? Like those 4 that are left. Huh. I totally forgot about those 2. I'm using them on the thing. Wet socks. Oh. E. Change them. Wet socks are the best. I think on the new PC my Discord works somehow. Oh, that's nice. Late. So what is the prologue? Why do a lot of Americans wear shoes in their home? That's actually something that always was making me wonder. Like for us, it's like either you wear slippers or you're walking in your socks. It feels gross. Dragging the outside filth everywhere. Yeah, exactly. That's weird. Maybe I can post the drawing of the American dialogue again. Sure. Show me. I'd love to. On the same ground you walk on. Yeah! Your slippers or something inside. Don't take out your shoes inside. Yeah! But here's the thing. Shoes were made to actually wear them outside because we started to have danger. Like we started to have danger for our feet, like glass, right? Like glass bottles or other things. Like they started also as a protection from like snakes and stuff. But like at home you shouldn't wear those because there's so much filth. You don't know if someone like done something outside while wearing shoes inside. It feels gross, but it feels gross to wear them inside of your home. Same people actually take them to bed, they are falling asleep in their shoes. Bye. Bye bye Muto, bye bye. Shoes in bed, yeah. Be good. Say all what you want, the Crocs stay on. This is gross, yeah. Say all what you want, the Crocs stay on. Yeah, some Americans do that actually. So, I think I'm going to wrap up. Yeah, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to watch a movie with my mom and I'm going to take... Also, it's so many people. I like how they always explain that it's a weird thing Japanese, the taking off their shoes. Realizing the majority of the world does that. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Thanks Zeka, thanks Muto, thanks Blush, thanks Yui for being active chat on Twitch. Thanks Ayumi, Aspen, Amir, Bay, Catman, Royal, Aesthetic, Makila, Kimo for being active chat on YouTube, and as always, folks, stay creative and I hope to see you all in the next one. Take care and